So, welcome everyone. I'm Alexander, and today we're joined by Lina, CEO of CXDA Markets Limited. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you, Alexander, for the invitation.
So, before we dive in, could you give us a quick overview what CXDA Markets Limited does?
Yep, absolutely. CXDA Markets is a platform with a vision. We are here to transform finance and access to finance for illiquid assets in general, starting with SME finance in particular, and other kinds of private debt. So we want to open liquidity into those illiquid assets.
That's great. That's great. So, what inspired you to create this company? Was there a specific moment or experience that sparked this journey?
Yes, actually. So I am a technologist by career and passion. And I think the specific moment, which I am not alone to have experienced, a lot of people went through that, is with the advent of crypto, tokenization, blockchain in general. My background is financial technology. And
Okay.
although there's a lot of good stuff that happened over the past, I would say 20 years, however, with this technology, blockchain, digital assets, a lot of people, especially in financial sector, could see how empowering it can be, how it will solve issues that we couldn't do before, and really how transformational. It's like having you know money that is
Yeah.
actual money. It's not an entry, but it's kind of virtual. So it was that moment that inspired me to really think about how we can use this to do good and transform things.
Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting topics. So let's go back to when you first started. What major challenges or gaps did you see in the market that made you think his needs to be solved? Because this is an interesting thing that we can dive in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the beginning was of the journey for CXDA. And CXDA is digital assets focused. But we realized that in order to make an impact, we have to work at the cross section between traditional finance, what we call TradFi, and the new digital assets finance. There is a lot of transformation happening at the moment. However, the real impact will happen when these two technologies meet, when these two worlds kind of meet. The problems are the same in both. But in order to solve, we realized that we have to do a format that sort of links the two. And this was the beginning of how we went about putting CXD, focused on a very specific starting point, which was SME finance. SME finance is a challenge by definition, and it has not been resolved all throughout time. It is something that's always a problem for small and medium-sized businesses to get access to credit which is very much needed for their growth, and for the economy, because they form a large part of the economy. So we
Okay.
thought that this is a great point to start. This is an illiquid sort of asset. It is not there. We want to put it on the radar of investors, and especially institutional investors who have the money and the liquidity to channel into that asset.
Okay. And this is very interesting because could you elaborate on why the existing solutions weren't meeting these needs?
So typically it is, in order to do investment and lending and all of that, you need transparency, you need standardization. So the investor needs to put the money towards something that they know is what it is. First of all, what are the all of the metrics, what are the ratios, the credit, the risk, etc. That's number one. And
Okay.
for SMEs, this was not available. So this was the first thing we set out to do. Number two, you have to put standardization because, again, if you are going to tackle investors and especially institutional investors, they look at these products in a very standard manner. So you have to put that standardization there and make sure that, it is consistent throughout. So that's the second challenge that we were targeting. And then finally, you also have to have a platform where the rules are clear, the rules of engagement. If I'm a funder, how can I join this platform? What are
Yeah.
the rules? What are my rights? How can I perfect my collateral? If I lend money, how can I get it back? What is the risk appetite and how is it met? All of these things are, de facto for in capital markets. But in that segment, SME finance, they were not there, or at least to a large part. With technology, there's a lot of transformation happening, empowerment for SMEs based on many, many sort of products, inventory finance, invoice discounting, this and that, transactional data as well when you link with e-commerce. We've focused on the one segment, which is again SME finance, and how we can bring that to the radar of institutional investors and turn it into lendable assets.
Okay. And what was the breaking point that made you decide to tackle this problem?
So I think a little bit of history about CXDA. Myself, I come from, as I mentioned, financial technology. I worked in capital markets, so I know the technology there, as well as payments and compliance, right?
Okay.
And when I started working with Chi-X digital assets, Chi-X, they were alternative trading systems and stock exchanges. They wanted to see how to use technology such as blockchain for their strategy and what to do with that. We started looking at what kind of assets would be really benefiting from that. And we found that the SME finance sector, whether in Asia or in Africa or the Middle East or other countries, is ripe. It's a very ripe sector to benefit from such. The funding gap is huge, as well as the need. It is there. There is a big social impact and financial inclusion aspect to the work. So, with all of these factors, we decided that this is the right segment that we would like to tackle.
Okay. You mentioned blockchain. This is the also my interest in. So, what key challenges have you observed in bridging traditional finance with blockchain technology?
Thank you. Yeah, this is where we believe that we are going to be. This is our sort of edge and differentiation from other many very solid platforms that do lending to SME finance. SME finance is rising in importance, and there's a lot of effort being done to transform that. However, where we come in is, and our roadmap is, we would like to take it to the second level. What is the second level? It is really secondary trading and markets and liquidity that comes from investors. So imagine this: if I am a funder and I have $10 million to lend, I can lend to 10 companies, each 1 million. And theoretically, I wait until I recoup my money and then I can lend it again.
Yeah.
We don't want that. We want to put the wheel to work. We want to transform and take this liquidity and put it on trading systems, secondary markets where other institutional investors or other investors can come in and buy it. And then you have a sort of turnaround of the money, which is good for everybody. And to do that, we're going to be using tokenization. for the reason of cost cutting. Today, if you are going to do secondary trading, tokenized assets come to mind. It is the way the whole industry is moving towards. And also, you open up access to on chain and off chain liquidity.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. So, walk us through how CXDA Market Limited addresses these challenges. What makes your approach unique?
So I think our sort of ethos, really, our DNA is financial plus the use of technology. Fintech
Okay.
is a mix of both, but we believe that it is very important to understand the financial part, and just putting the tech at work will not make it happen. So we, first of all, from the get-go, our offer is that we work with the SMEs. We understand their requirements, we understand their need, we understand their problems, and we help them to solve those problems. So we take them on the full journey on the platform. It's a digital platform. They upload their documentation. However, through the use of chatbots, AI, and actual agents on the ground, real people,
Yep.
we work with the SMEs in order to help them finish their applications. That part is a deterrent for many SMEs, especially when they meet the requirements of funders that sometimes can be quite onerous, right? So we help them with that. We take them throughout this journey. We also help with providing financial analysis. We talk to the SMEs how they can improve. If they don't get a loan the first time, they are our customer. They stay on the platform, and we work with them to get another loan, maybe from another funder, or to improve their financials and then come back, etc. So we understand that part. Second, we understand the technology.
Yeah.
And to come to the second part, once we have data, once we know the debt that is issued on the platform in depth, we know the issuers. We are going to then start the second part. We're already in discussion with major sort of exchanges, centralized exchanges at the time being, but DeFi rails are going to be there as well in the future. And, in order to take those on a POC or pilot project, tokenize real world assets, debt, right? Short term debt, longer term debt, and then start trading that on those exchanges. And this is where the real liquidity comes in and happens.
Awesome. 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 So, when you talk about your potential clients, what's the biggest misconceptions they typically have about what to do?
Okay, so here is honestly, and I am finding this even more than I expected. First of all, as I mentioned, we work at the intersection of traditional finance and Web3.
Yeah.
This is key because a lot of customers, whether funders or applicants to loans, when you tell them digital assets, they're not gonna, they don't understand that. A lot of, these are people doing their business, a variety of business in all industries. So you need to approach them the traditional manner. You want a loan, come on the platform, we will help you, we'll work with you. Um, for SMEs, the really big issue is always the financials. Having their documentation in order is one, but the financials is a problem. So we have to tackle that, and we do. We help them really put them in a more solid manner. For the funders, it's definitely the compliance. I mean, a funder is, and we can't blame them, whether banks or funds or whatever, it is the same cost, time, and effort to disperse a $1 million loan that they will do to disperse a $100 million loan.
Yeah.
So, they definitely go for the bigger play, the bigger tickets, etc. And you can't blame them. the compliance requirements on banks is so big that they have to really focus their effort, and this is where we come in. We do the work on their behalf. We cut their cost, time, and effort, and we offer them a good pipeline, vetted pipeline that meets their requirements, and it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, that's incredible. So, can you share a specific success story of a client who saw significant results using your solution?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, look, we started last year, so it's not like we have a very long history behind us. However, we were fortunate to work with the government of Dubai, and the government of Dubai, they are like the city that they built. They are really pro innovation. They adopt all kinds of innovation in order to further the well-being of the citizens and of the residents, etc. So we worked with the entity that is responsible for SMEs, Dubai SME, and with the mandate to give them growth credit loans of all kinds. And I think it was a success story because, and that's the part that I love the most, working with the small companies themselves and seeing how we can help them achieve their goals or weather a storm or get a
Yeah.
loan quickly. Typically, it would have been taken quite a bit of time for them to get a loan. But with the technology that we are putting with Dubai SME, the platform and the work, the partnership with them, a loan can be dispersed very fast. And we listen to the needs of the customer. The Dubai SME, they're very responsive as well.
Okay, okay, that's great.
Thank
So,
you.
looking at the broader industry, what key trends are you seeing emerge?
So definitely, key trends, I think, tokenized private credit. So as I
Okay,
mentioned in the beginning of the discussion, illiquid assets are the big game that we are focusing, or the big sector. SME finance is just one part of that. But we do see a trend to tokenize all kinds of private credit, and that trend is really transformational. So, for example, trade finance is one of the areas that we are going to focus on next.
okay.
Trade finance is ripe with inefficiencies, I might add, and some challenges, risk, etc. So when you really streamline using tokenization, we believe that this is going to be a game changer as well.
Okay, and how are these trends effective? How business operate in the space, in your space, in the fintech industry?
So for us, I mean, this is the future. This is the promise, the opportunity, because we can see where we can be going and how we can grow in the next 5 to 10 years, and it's a very promising and exciting sort of space. Let's put it this way. In terms of competition, we value competition. We believe that the market and the technology are so powerful that the more entrants, the better. The other aspect that is really definitely coming to play, and everybody is using that, is AI. AI literacy across the board is increasing.
Yeah.
It's becoming in the DNA of every business, and that we are no different from that. So we're adopting AI. We're seeing how we can embed it, whether on the customer interaction part, whether on the analysis part, all throughout, and this is going to increase with time.
Great, great. So, what do you think most business owners are getting wrong when they are trying to address their specific problem? Like, for example, the loans.
I think the I think it's the legacy and the stigma of how difficult it is or was to get along, and it's
Okay.
it's It's out of experience, business owners. I was just talking to someone the other day, like 2 days ago. They're doing $100 million in revenue. They hardly qualify as an SME. However, they still cannot get access to easy lending or credit, etc. Why? Because they have been in operation for 3 years.
Okay,
And
okay.
although it's a great story, whatever, but it is difficult. So I think what the big deterrent is the legacy, because it is difficult for SMBs to access loans. Then they think that where to go, what to do, etc. However, we are not alone. As I mentioned, there's a lot of transformation, there's a lot of activity in this space, there's a lot of companies that are zooming on one aspect or another and transforming that.
Yeah, that's a really good insight. So, what advice would you give to business owners who want to stay ahead of this challenge?
I think it is important for business owners, first of all, just get your financials literate. The financial literacy, I think, is very important. If you're starting a business, a restaurant, or a travel agency, or whatever, you got to have the financial literacy, you got to have your documentation ready in order to help you expedite any credit need and access to lending. That's the typical part where I see most small business owners struggle. So I think that's my recommendation.
Okay, okay, good to know. So, as we wrap up, what's next for CXDA Markets Limit? Any exciting developments on the horizon?
Yes, definitely. Always exciting. First of all, we are growing and expanding regionally and in terms of augmenting the platform, as I mentioned. The platform is alive, every quarter, we have to offer more to our customers, the companies that come on board, as well as the funders. So we are tackling new markets as we speak. We are in the UAE, we are in Egypt today. However, we are looking at expanding into definitely KSA, Oman, and other developing economies regionally. That's on the sort of geographical expansion. In terms of product, we are coupling and offering a couple of products in payments, which is very, very needed for SMEs. Enablement of payments, cost-effective payments, digital payments through the platform. That's what we are working on, and hopefully by April we're going to launch a couple of products in that segment.
Awesome, awesome. I'm really excited about it.
Thank you, Alexander.
So, for listeners who want to learn more or potentially work with CXDA Markets Limited, what's the best way to get in touch?
We are all over. We're LinkedIn. We have a very strong presence on LinkedIn. We're very active there. They can connect to our website. We are in Dubai at the DIFC. We have an office in Egypt as well. So just check our website and LinkedIn, and we are there for you, very, very accessible. You can also, by word of mouth, ask other companies that have connected with us, and we it's typically a great reference.
Great. So, thank Lina for this amazing podcast session. This is a
Thank you.
grateful insight that I know more about it.
Thank you. I
And
really am grateful for the occasion. Thank you very much.
no problem. Yeah, so that's it. If you have any other questions or you have any advice for our audience, you can share it.
Actually, not much. I mean, just tune in and see what CXD has to offer. We are trying to sort of increase the reach as much as possible. And as I said, we are active in these countries, and we have ambition by next quarter to be in three other new economies. So happy to engage. Shoot us an email. We are happy to engage with you.
Great. Good.
Thank you.
So that's it.
Okay.
So see you next time.
Thank you very much, Alexander. You take care. All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.